Ukrainian refugees are now being welcomed in the UK under a new policy. CBS News contributor Simon Bates has more in this week's edition of London Calling. And a reminder, Simon's opinions are his own and not necessarily reflective of CBS News.
In a world filled with madness as war once again returns to the streets of Europe, it is the ordinary people who are suffering the most. Bombed out of their homes by an army with its own rules of war, quite different to ours, millions are doing all they can do and heading for the nearest border. And so for several days now, a growing wave of Ukrainian refugees has fanned out across Europe. Here in Britain, our government's initial reaction was, to say the least, less than helpful. Let me introduce you to Priti Patel, the cabinet minister whose job it is to deal with these issues effectively and quickly, and with more than a degree of humanity. And ironically, her parents were refugees themselves from East Africa. But horror stories soon began to emerge of unfathomable British paperwork and processing offices opening up miles away from where the refugees had been told to gather. The British public erupted with outrage. Shocked by the pictures from Europe, they forced a significant change in government policy and, indeed, a change of minister to drive it through. Now, from this weekend, any Ukrainian refugee can come to Britain and stay for up to 3 years, and there is no limit on the numbers. More than 100,000 people here have already offered space in their homes, and this support is not just in the big cities. Take these shops in my local town, each proudly displaying the Ukrainian flag in solidarity. And tucked away even further into the Devon moorlands, the picturesque hamlet of West Anstey, population 163, saw this posted on its community notice board. It's just one local example of the welcome that ordinary people are trying to provide here for the displaced people of Ukraine. That's London Calling for today. This is Simon Bates for CBS News in Devon.